Hello, welcome back to another live stream. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Welcome back to another match reaction. West Ham United 0, Chelsea 3. Make sure to like the video and subscribe if you are new. At GVO Mikes on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok if you want to follow me as well. For all the quicker, earlier match reactions that you may want, they will be going straight up on TikTok before they reach YouTube usually. So yeah. Let's get straight into this, people. Big up to everyone that's supported over the past week. Supported the fact that I went on a press run. I went on about 6 channels talking about this game. And I told every Chelsea fan that I knew, whether they were confident or not, that we were going to lose this game. And we did lose this game. But it wasn't the way I expected to lose the game. Now, I didn't think that we were going to have this madman marking system to then leave ourselves exposed within the middle and the flanks put together quite literally all over the place. What could only be compared to like a even worse version of like the Bielsa lead system. That's what it felt like watching today. When I think of man marking, attacking systems, I think of that Leeds team that under Bielsa where it went wrong and they used to get just peppered off whenever they come up against a decent team. Big up to Kyle. Hope you're doing well, my guy. But guys, I remember last week when I was like, I put a rant in the title against Fulham because I was genuinely pissed off. I was pissed off for like the first 10 minutes. Obviously, I was at the game. I was pissed off for like the first 10 minutes. And then as soon as the first goal went in, I was like, okay, this game over. It's game over. It was game over from the first goal. Because how many times are we going to concede an early goal? How many times? How many times are we going to concede an early goal? How many times are we going to be on the back foot just chasing the game? And it's not even like we're testing the defense. It's not even like we're testing the goalkeeper either. Where we have a lot of the ball, but the attackers don't have a lot of the ball. Like, we're just passing it sideways with the midfielders. There's constant sideways football. This is just as bad as what I was seeing under Pellegrini. And I didn't even buy into... I thought the comparisons with the two managers of Pellegrini and Lopetegui were quite lazy at the time. But in terms of what I'm seeing, I remember when I was watching the Pellegrini football 18-19 season and 19-20 season, it was very sideways. Very, very sideways. Just passing the ball to the flanks, can't find an opening, pass the ball back to the midfield. That is pretty much what our football was summed up. And that's pretty much what it's been like today. And the reason why I'm not angry anymore is because I've seen this team get battered for the past 3 seasons under 2 different managers. Why am I getting angry anymore? Why am I getting excited about this club? Every time we get excited and think there's a new rise at this club or something new is going to happen, nothing does happen. This is just what we are. We're not going to do anything ever again. And before people were like, well, it's just David Moyes, it was slipping from then. It was slipping from the back end of David Moyes. And I'm not going to entertain the conversations about all this revisionism. I tweeted about it today, and it triggered a lot of weird people on Twitter. But I think people read what they want to read, and they're comparing this to like the 3-1 win from last season. But when people were comparing the Crystal Palace win compared to when we got battered last season, we weren't allowed to compare games. So people don't keep the same energy, but it is what it is. Big up to Josiah as well. Like, listen, I've had enough, like, of the club in general. And to be completely honest with you, I predicted this was going to happen in many previews I was in. I predicted this on Joey's pod, on Lewis's channel. Like, I predicted on every video that I was on where I was talking about the manager. I was talking about how this manager is on crack cocaine. And the reason why I say this is because I've seen the lineups before. And listen, I didn't really have many problems with the lineup, but I put on my socials, free to Debo. Free him. Because why is Mavropanos still starting games? Why? I'm not trying to single a player out today. And people are going to talk about, like, I know people associate me with the Souček slander quite a lot. Big up to Jonathan. Hope you're well, bro. Well, I'm sure you're well after today, but hope you're doing good, bro. I know a lot of people associate me with the Souček slander, but I'm not even going to slander him today because he came on as a sub. I'm more going to slander the fact of how he was used and the sub. Because yes, Rodriguez was bad today, but you scapegoated him because Alvarez was bad. Emerson started off bad. Wan-Bissaka started off bad. Bowen wasn't good up front. Not that he's a striker anyway. We'll get onto that in a second. By the way, I'm only going until like 20 to 20-10 today. That's going to be way shorter than usual. I'm trying to watch the Joshua fight. I don't know what time it's starting. I'm only going to have this for 40 minutes. And to be completely honest with you, I know I'm going to have to talk about this game another 3 times this week, or at least 2 to 3 times this week. And honestly, I don't really want to talk about this game, but I'm going to still have more videos of the game. So you're not really going to miss much coverage from me when it comes to my analysis of this game in a moment. But this is my problem. This is my problem with the whole thing. Like, let's look at the man marking system today. Like, well, actually, let me finish my thing about Souček. Like, when Souček came on, and I'm not slandering the guy was put on, but he was used as the deepest lying midfielder. Souček is not a deep lying playmaker. Souček is not a deep lying creator that is going to build something from the back pause. Like, he was receiving the ball off the centre backs. Why is the deepest line midfielder basically the third centre back in a whole system on and off the ball? This was the same way Alvarez was used in the first half. Now, I predicted on the RSM channel, big up to RSM as well, that Alvarez and Rodriguez were going to start together. And I didn't have much of a problem with that. I didn't care. But it didn't work today. It didn't work like how it did against Manchester City. Against Manchester City, we at least put up a fight. This was way worse because the problem is, because of the pragmatism of the manager, the off-the-ball like organization and how we are structured changes every game. So Bowen would cover Lucas Digne and we will go into a 5 against Villa. Against Palace, we became a 5 within the centre midfielders because they played with 2 number 10s. Against Fulham, we just played the normal rigid 4-2-3-1. Against Man City, we went man-to-man in their midfield, but we didn't go man-to-man throughout the whole pitch, because if we did, we would have got battered at least 6-0 by Man City. With this game, we went man-to-man with every player, and I've said this already on my TikTok, and I've said it already on Nippin's channel. Go check out my fan cam on Nippin's channel as well. Big up to Nippin. We put our 2 most immobile players in Alvarez and Rodriguez to man-mark Cole Palmer and Nicholas Jackson, which is the 2 most mobile players probably on the pitch at that current moment in time, excluding Mohamed Kudus. And it's the 2 most mobile players within that Chelsea team, in my opinion. Because we didn't see Madueke today, for example. We didn't really see him, but we didn't have to see him, because at times I thought Cole Palmer was two different people, because we didn't manage to pick him up in either position, in the number 10 or on the right. We didn't see Madueke today because he didn't have to do anything, because Cole Palmer was doing his job for him. No, he's not, because Avram is his whole new different breed of manager, but I'm not happy with him. When did you leave the game? I turned it off when we went 3-0 down. I stayed to the end because the only 2 times I've left the game early, and I say early, one of the times was when we lost to Newcastle 5-1. I left on the 90th minute when they scored their last goal. The only other time I left the game early was I went with my mum. She was already not feeling well in 2016 when we went to the Man City game and we got battered 5-0 in the FA Cup. That's the only time where I actually left in the middle of a game. I've never left in the middle of a game regardless. Even the Arsenal game. I actually regretted not leaving in the middle of the game last season when we lost 6-0. Oh, bro. More than a horror show. More than a fucking horror show. And this is the thing with the manager. I don't think he knows what he's doing, because when did Antonio and Souček warrant getting another minute after the Fulham game? Again, I'm not slandering Souček. I'm just keeping the same energy with the players. Mikel Antonio came on with one of the worst cameos I've seen from a substitute as a West Ham player in a very, very long time. And no one could call me biased. No one could call me biased, because Mikel Antonio is one of my favourite West Ham players of all time. But I can also know when a man is done. And as Carragher says, leave the football before the football leaves you. As much as I would have liked the guy to become this effective sub player and then retire as a legend. And listen, the guy is a legend, in my opinion, because he's been our top goal scorer. But the guy is done. That was one of the worst cameos I've ever seen as a West Ham player. The guy was getting in the way of other people in their positions. So he's a big hindrance towards the system anyway. Not that I think the system works. Not that I know what the system is. If you look at every time we've attacked in every game, by the way, the attack looks so disjointed, it's unbelievable in every game. Either the midfielders aren't distributing the ball to the wingers. Either we play a 4-2-3-1, Paquetá just runs around like a useless fucking donkey, and the wingers don't get the ball. Or the wingers can get into 1v1 situations, but they don't get any service. Now, apart from Max Kilman, Somerville, and Mohamed Kudus today, I could go at every player. Every player. Because Emerson wasn't good enough at the start. Wan-Bissaka picked it up in the second half, but he kept losing the ball in the first half. Edson Alvarez, it was probably in a West Ham shirt ever. And I'm not doing player ratings today, because there's nothing to rate. There is nothing to rate today. I don't know why you didn't bring on Ings on. At least he scored last time when he came on. I don't know how Antonio came on over Danny Ings. And even Andy Irving got minutes. And Jesus Christ, even Aaron Cresswell came on. That's when you knew the game was done. We brought Aaron Cresswell on. By the way, so fucking Mark Madueke. That's just not fair on Cresswell. Fucking hell. But people are gonna have their agendas. People are gonna have their narratives online. The reason why I wanted to back this manager is because he was a new manager at West Ham United. Now, was I completely sure? No. But I bought into the hype. I bought into what he was going to bring to the team. And I bought into the fact that Steidon made the decision, and he did make the decision where this will have to lie on Steidon. Big up to Arthur, you prick. Big up Arthur as always. I bought into the fact that Steidon brought him in. And listen, I love Tim Steidon. I think he's done really well in the transfer window and brought all these players to us. However, this is one of his wrong decisions. This was, and I think someone said it on Twitter. I retweeted it. Lopetegui was our worst signing. Like, I'm not even gonna slander any new signings really, like, because it's their first season. It's their first season, so I don't do all of that unless they've played in the Premier League quite a lot. So like Kilman and Wan-Bissaka, I expect more instant results from them too. And to be fair to them too, they've been the two best out of the signings so far because, well, not many of them have played. Big up to Musty as well. I know I forget that there's a lot of Chelsea fans that subscribe to my channel due to the fact that I've collaborated with a lot of Chelsea fans. But big up to you guys as always. At least you can like the video, at least, and subscribe if you're new. That's all I want. Just at least like the video, because at least I can have some fucking positive for today. People are going to ask me, what were the positives of today? The train home. I actually got back from the game quite quick. The train was easy to get to. Even walking to the station was easy to get to as well. So yeah, that was the positive for today. And if you want to ask me for any more positives outside of Kilman, Kudus, and Somerville, no. And I'm going to get onto the Somerville substitution in a minute. Do you think the penalty shout would have changed the game? I do. No, I don't think it would have, because we didn't do anything without the penalty, and I don't think the penalty would have done anything. I just think Chelsea would have kept the ball even more, and then knew when to pick us apart to try and find a third goal quite earlier than usual. That's my problem with it. Saw Souček was coming on, knew the win was guaranteed. I mean, I knew the win was guaranteed for the first goal, but listen, seeing Souček come on, I wanted to leave, but I don't leave the games early. Well, I bring you that positive for today, mate. You could be a Wolves fan. Yeah, I feel sorry for you. I don't necessarily feel sorry for your club. I feel sorry for you because you're a good Wolves fan. But big up to yourself, Deck. Hope you're doing well. Lopetegui out. Yeah. And listen, a lot of people were saying, a lot of people had their doubts about Lopetegui before, a lot of neutrals. But listen, I just wanted to back the manager because he was a new manager at West Ham. I wanted to give him a chance. And also, just because I was unhappy with last season doesn't mean I can't be unhappy with this season. And just because I'm unhappy with this season doesn't mean we need to do all this revisionism about David Moyes from last season. The two things can coexist. Neither of them are good enough for the club at this current moment in time. Steidon made the wrong decision, appointed him, and that falls onto him because despite the fact that he's made all these good signings, he's given it to someone who doesn't know how to use them. I don't know how Carlos Soler didn't come on if you were going to take Rodriguez off. The problem is when making an early sub like that, if you take Rodriguez off, you have to take everyone off because he was the only one that wasn't playing well. If he was the only one that was stinking it out and he was the main hindrance towards the whole game, then listen, take him off by any means. And listen, Lopetegui's so ruthless. If he was so ruthless, he wouldn't have brought Souček on after his stinker performance against Fulham, and the same with Mikel Antonio as well. He wouldn't have brought Antonio on after that stinker performance against Fulham. He would have left him out. He would have actually, if he was so ruthless, Guilherme would be in a squad over Irving, Antonio, and Souček, but Guilherme is still nowhere to be seen. I know it's 5 games, Josiah, but listen, that's why people are hesitant. But there's not enough. You got to at least bring me something where I know what we're doing. We don't know what we're doing on the pitch, Josiah. We haven't played well once, apart from Palace. And that was the second half against Palace. We haven't had a full good 90 minutes. Against City, we had moments. But that's Man City. Where are the wins coming from? I'm not waiting until Brentford away, where we could lose again. Because with Brentford away, we always lose. And fuck Anfield, bro, because we're going to lose at Anfield. I don't care. Listen, respect. I don't care. Just 1 win. He doesn't have a clue, mate. I did warn some of your fan base about him during the summer when he was appointed. He doesn't know what he's doing. No, I hear that. I fully hear that. I just wanted to give him a chance. 1 win in 5 isn't great, mate. Facts. I saw on Twitter that Tadibo wasn't playing because of the obligation. Yeah, so he has to play 5 games for the obligation to buy. You'd like to think that he'd play 2 more games until then. So I fucking hope it's not because of the obligation. I really hope it's not because of the obligation. If it's because of that, then honestly, this season's already done for me. Like, I know people are going to be like, oh, Mike's is overreacting. Mike's is doing all of this. I told everyone about what was going to happen in this game before the game even happened. So I'm not trying to gaslight anyone. I'm not trying to overreact for views because I'm not shouting. I'm just talking to you calmly, yeah? The season's done. The reason why the season's done is because we're not going to go on a run of games. You see, after Brentford, we've got Ipswich at home. And then you put all your pressure on yourselves to win against Ipswich at home. Then after that, we have Tottenham away. Cool, we won at Tottenham away last season. But Tottenham will probably beat us. Then we've got Man United at home. Do you think we're going to beat Man United at home? Cool, we beat Man United at home last season. So what? So what? We've got to win eventually. People are going to keep making excuses and let it be known we'll be in a relegation battle if we carry on like this. I don't think we'll get relegated. I'm not going to say that. But I'm just saying we'll be down there. We'll be down at that part of the table. Because you're giving, like, you know the meme of the Lamborghini in the big Bando house? Those are the players to the manager. The manager is the Bando. The Lamborghini is the players. Because you can't have a squad of, I would say we have like 15 to 16 good players that can get you into Europe. But you're picking some of the worst players out the combinations that you can find, which is saying a lot about your management skills in itself. Now, Wolves fans may not have been right about Kilman, but they were right about this manager. I'll tell you that for sure. They were fucking right about this manager. I am not giving anyone patience if you don't allow me to give you a chance. He's making erratic decisions. He's making erratic team lineups. He's saying a load of shit in interviews all the time. I don't watch the interviews anymore after the whole, oh, well, he's not ready because of international break and all this. And listen, we're playing Brentford away from home. Away. This guy's going to go extra cautious because it's away from home. Extra cautious. Sack the Spanish fraud. I was happy with the starting 11 for the most part. Yeah, I agree. I just wanted Tadibo to start. Yeah, he did ruin it with all of his subs. He did. But to be honest, he ruined it with his game plan. And let me get into it quick. He ruined it with his initial game plan where the whole system was the man mark. So Wan-Bissaka was pressing all the way to the fullback, and that's fine if you have to cover. But Mavropanos and Alvarez weren't communicating, so the gap was just on the wings at all times. So what Chelsea were doing, we're combining down one of the sides to then know that West Ham are going to leave such a big gap on the other side that they could easily switch to play. They left 4 in midfield. But no one was pressing aggressively and were waiting to press in the midfield. So they always had an extra man to pass between the 4 of them. That's why Robert Sanchez was taking so much time. That's why Aston Villa played the way they did against us. Because Martinez takes his time and knows when to pass to the player. So then Aston Villa have the extra man. That's how every team has played against us so far. And obviously Man City played like that anyway. But this is the problem with Lopetegui. The guy waits to press in midfield rather than pressing aggressively from the front. We saw this in the James Lawrence Alcott video. That's when we saw it. As I know, it's early days, but does Lopetegui have a problem with his new signings? Tadibo and Soler should at least be starting. I don't know. But that's the same issue I had with the previous manager. That's why I'm keeping the exact same energy. You know, like, I'm not one of these people that is either Moyes or Lopetegui, and I've got to keep the same, and I've got to be on one side because I don't like the other guy. I hate people like that. I am keeping the same energy. Same energy with both managers. Neither of them are good enough. So that's what you're going to get from me. Same with the players and the manager. That's all you're going to get from me is the same energy. Because guess what? That's the exact problem I had with David Moyes. You bought a new signing and you didn't want to integrate him in, called him shit, then we sell him after a year. That is the exact same problem that we could have with this manager. Playing Alvarez as a third centre-back was stupid. Left us with 0 midfield. Facts. Mavropanos isn't good enough. The gaps he left for the gaps he left for Jackson today was a joke. Honestly, I think I said in one of the streams that I was on, Jackson can target Mavropanos. Jackson loves the left-hand side. Loves it. Honestly, he loves the channel. And guess who's playing right centre-back? Mavropanos. And I saw the way Jackson played against Zuma and Aguerd and Ogbonna last season. The way he likes to take centre backs on 1v1 and use his footwork. Against Mavropanos, it was even worse. Jadon Sancho was playing with Alvarez today. Pause. Like, it was nuts. The footwork from these players and the inability to like actually deal with them were unbelievable. Big up to Jojo. We were in RSM's channel trying to figure out if you went home early or had a heart attack in the stadium. Neither, to be fair. So let me tell you this. I don't leave games. I don't leave games early. So you're never gonna get that from me. But I didn't have a heart attack because I gave up after the first goal. I remember when we scored that offside goal, everyone was celebrating. I knew it was offside. I just sat down. I knew we weren't going to get the penalty anyway. It looked like a penalty in the thing. I don't really give a shit if it was a penalty or not because I'm more focused on the fact that we couldn't score from open play. Why do we need another penalty to get us out of trouble? That's my problem with it. We're not creating anything. We didn't test Robert Sanchez at all. We didn't test him at all today. And the only times where we really were close to testing him was when we were already 3-0 down. Big up to Ryan, bro. Hope you're doing well, my guy. Rodriguez is big too much credit from some fans. Average at best, too slow. Yeah, I'm just giving him credit where it's due. Like, he had a bad game today. The reason why I'm just easier on new signings when they haven't played in the Premier League before and it's their first seasons. Like, that's my main problem. Fuck's sake. Sorry, noisy house. I don't know whether you guys can hear that, but like, that's the thing with Rodriguez. I've given him credit where it's due. I thought he was going to be a squad player. A lot of people told me that he was going to start. I think he needs to get dropped, but I would drop him for Soler. Listen, to be fair, mate, like he was just there. It was just typical Suchet. He was played as the deepest midfielder. So to be honest, I can't even really get onto him. He was sloppy as usual. But at this point, I'm actually past the point, bro, where I'm not even getting angry at him anymore, because I'm like, I just don't want him to play. Like I'm more angry at the manager for even subbing him on and trying to play him. That's my main problem. I don't think Jackson is a threat, to be honest. I don't rate him. I never did. Probably explains why he never got game time under Embry at Villarreal, but if you leave him that much space, he'll punish you. I rate him as a footballer, not as a striker. However, he did finish well today. Yeah, listen, that's a proper midfielder. Gravenberch is... I mean, I've rated him since Ajax, so I'm kind of glad that he's getting the credit that he deserves and getting the chance under, a different manager, So big up to Gravenberch. I rate Jackson as a footballer, but it's just not as a striker. But then again, he scored 2 goals against us today. When he took Somerville off for Antonio, I lost my shit. Took our best player off for no reason when talking about our second best player moving out of position. You know what? I'm going to star that comment because I want to get back to that. That's it, guys. I'm a City fan now. Do you think it's coaching setup or the players are just arse? What's the solution for West Ham? The players aren't arse. Some of the players are arse, don't get me wrong. I'll tell you, listen, people are going to get sick of me saying it. But the players that are arse are the players I always complain about. That's the Czech boys. Antonio right now at his current moment in time, he's 34. Like, he's done a lot for the club, but right now he's arse. Cresswell doesn't play. So he's arse, but he doesn't play. So he's not exactly a hindrance at his current moment in time. But it's them 4 players mainly. And of course, my internet is going down. Give me a sec. I'm going to turn something off on my internet. But let me get straight back into these comments, man. Yeah, Blue Shark and all that. But yeah, the players aren't us. He's got a good squad. He wanted all these players, by the way. And I'm not trying to hear about it's not Lopetegui's squad. And I know it's 5 games, but you're meant to use the best players in your squad. But here's the problem. You got 2 players in every position. Also, he wanted to keep the players that were linked to moves away. So that was Antonio, that was Cresswell. That's the problem. That is the big fucking problem. Big up, Mike. You can't blame the Czech boys for today. I'm not blaming the Czech boys for today, but doesn't mean they should be starting either, bro. Are you Lopetegui out? Yes, I'm Lopetegui out. I've had enough. And people are going to say it's 5 games, but Jesus Christ. We needed to sign an athlete in midfield, and we signed Rodriguez, who would be too slow for veterans football. He is too slow, don't get me wrong, but I'm going to be honest, I don't think the manager helped anyone today because they left it. If you're going to have these slow players, you don't leave them in a man marking system, and you definitely don't tell them to mark the most mobile player on the pitch in Cole Palmer. And we know how good Cole Palmer is. Where is Tim Steiden? He's out for the photos when we win. He built this unbalanced squad. I think the manager is not using this unbalanced squad. I think the squad is fine. I don't think the manager is using it properly. I have no problem with starting. Listen, the whole thing about him going on the pitch and stuff, directors of football do that. And it was at an away game. He's not going to go all the way downstairs, from our stadium to go on the pitch. Of course, the director of football is in every club. Just go out on the pitch. So we can't really blame this on stuff. Like the only thing we can really blame on starting is hiring this fucking manager. I'll be real. I really feel sorry for Tadibo, Fulcrook, and Soler. They must be wondering what the hell they left Europe for. Not to be rude, Lopetegui is the main fault. I agree. Listen, I agree with what you said. Like, I don't know why listen, if it's for the obligation, I'm fucking pissed off, man. I'm so fucking pissed off with that. Like, this is my thing. You hijack that deal. You hijack that deal from Juventus, and then you don't play him for Mavrobozo, who again is not good enough to play week in, week out. And that's something else I will criticize Stardom for, is signing Konstantinos Mavropanos and him identifying him. Don't get me wrong, I didn't want Harry Maguire, but Jesus Christ. Man said, get me Carrick. Listen, Carrick's a good manager. I don't think he's ready though. Blaming King Tim for signing his crazy cope, a half decent manager would get a tune out of the players. Yeah, that's the thing. Like my fault with starting is the manager. Like hiring this manager, like identifying this manager with the squad, he's done well in my opinion. And the squad was unbalanced anyway. There's only so much you could do in one window. Like we needed to address so many positions in the summer, but we can't address everything. Like in my opinion, I was fine with the window. I didn't give it a 10 out of 10 or anything, but I was fine with what we addressed. The problem is that we needed to address so many positions, like so many. I would take Andy Carroll over Antonio at the moment. I'll take my nan over Antonio. I reckon we don't want to pay the money for Tadibo like we did with Zaza. Bruv, if it is like that, then I don't know what this club is doing. If it is like that, then yeah. We were also trying to buy Tadibo, so we might try again next summer if he decides to leave. We say decide to leave, he's barely fucking joined. Like, this is the thing, he just needs to play 5 games and he's joined. So there's like 2 or 3 more games. And then he's joined the club. So if he doesn't play 3 games, something is wrong. Something is wrong. Because the guy needs to play. The guy needs to play. I need an ex-West Ham employee report somewhere to give me clarity on the situation. No, Steiden was in charge of all the decisions, to be fair. It's just the fact that I think Steiden wanted Amorim, and we broke down with Amorim. I also think he wanted a Stuttgart manager, but the Stuttgart manager signed a new contract. So I think we just went with Lopetegui because that was the only alternative on the market that we were able to get at this current moment in time. And I think his agent was pushing for the Premier League move because Lopetegui wanted the Premier League move ever since he actually left Wolverhampton Wanderers. So, listen, I initially thought it was a Sullivan thing, but when ex-West Ham employee reported the fact that Steiner was in charge of all the decisions, then you got to get it on him, unfortunately. As a super sub, I'm calm with it. Like, that's my thing. I was a super sub and calm with it. Don't get me wrong. In the long term, I do want him sold. But you see, at this current moment in time, if he's going to stay, as a super sub, that's fine. That's what I've been begging for last season. And as you said, I didn't get the way he was used. I didn't get the sub after 35 minutes because he was used as the deepest line midfielder. He was used as a midfielder next to the centre backs. I don't know. He's not useful there. You bring on Souček for a goal. You don't bring on Souček to just, be there as an extra defender. Listen, he can defend. He actually defended quite well when he came on, but we're meant to be a possession-based side. You don't bring him on to dictate play, The worst thing is, I don't think we'll sack this manager. I don't think we'll sack this manager now. That's why I'm not screaming and shouting and be like, please just get him out, because as much as I do want him out, we're not going to do that because it kind of looks bad on Stadin himself for even sacking him in the first place. But he should just be like, I'm going to take this L that I hired this manager in the first place and identify other people. I'm sure the club in general, internally, when a manager comes in, they do other things where they discuss alternatives regardless of the situation. But they're not going to, approach anyone. I'll say that for sure. Our midfield is the main issue. Too slow, especially when you play both Rodriguez and Alvarez together as well. Like, if you had played a midfield with Alvarez, Soler, and a Paquetá, you've got the right amount of legs, to balance it out, and then to not get caught out on the counter. I feel like if this doesn't turn around, he will be gone by next international break. I think that's what should happen. I don't think that's what will happen. Lopetegui is the only fault at this club now. I think he's the biggest fault. But I want to get into this comment, like Charlie put in earlier, because this is very important because if for everyone that was at the game can, and I'm sure some of you that watched it on TV would have heard it as well, but Crescencio Somerville, when he had the ball, was good. He took on a couple of people, but didn't get help once he was past those people. Didn't get any support because Bowen wasn't offering movement as a striker because he's not a striker. Kudus as a number 10. No, I'm not Kudus. Paquetá as a number 10 wasn't great, to be honest. But and when Somerville actually came off, he was actually still one of our better players. The problem is, Somerville was the one that came off before Paquetá. And we didn't. What we could have done was, if you were going to put a striker on, one, it should have been Danny Ings, and then you put Kudus in the middle and Bowen on the right. Some people came off today, and the whole crowd booed. I booed. I booed as loud as possible because I'm far away from Lopetegui. So I'm going to boo. I booed at the end of the game as well. I don't care if I look fucking stupid. I'm going to boo. I don't give a fuck. The whole crowd booed. With good reason. With good reason. And I hope Somerville knows that we didn't boo him. We didn't boo him. It was the sub. We booed the substitution. That's when you know you've lost a portion of the fan base already. And West Ham Chelsea is a game that we take seriously as like match going fans. And even as not just isolating a group of fans, but I'm saying they chant about each other. Like there's history there in terms of like back in the day. So there's a lot of fans that take that game seriously. When you're already 3-0 down in that game, and then you take one of the best players off, that was one of the only performing players. Like the best. Somerville, Kudus, and Kilman. Who else was there? No one. Wan-Bissaka in the second half was trying. He was taking too long on the ball. He wasn't good in the first half. I'm not going to put too much on Wan-Bissaka though, because for the most part, he's been fine. Sullivan doesn't sack managers too tight. Well, it's meant to be nowadays that Stardon's in charge of the decision, so we're going to see about that. What I will say, to agree with you on that, is the reason why we let David Moyes go instead of just sacking him is because we knew we would let him run down his contract rather than paying compensation because we're not that ruthless. But if this club wants to prove that it's not like the old regime, then pay compensation to get a manager out of his job. And by the way, don't ask me who I want. It's not my job. I don't care. I'm just going to judge it for when it comes. People can't ask me for solutions. I'm not a director of football. If I was a director of football, I'd have answers for you. I don't, because I'm not a director of football. I'm a fan of the club that just wants the best for the club. So don't ask me for solutions because I just criticize and say what I want to see and say what I see, and say how it is, in my opinion. The tactic of Alvarez in a back three with fullbacks high is dangerous and needs to stop. Facts. I don't get the whole Alvarez tactic because as much as he can drop in between the centre backs at times, why does he stay there? And I know I'm not going at him. I'm going at the manager for putting him as the instruction because you're going there to drop deep, and then when we're off the ball, it's still a 5. So it's a 5 off the ball and 5 on the ball. How does that make sense? How does that gel together? It doesn't gel together. This is the problem. We need someone that's like football's simple, yeah. Forget style of play. Like remove style of play from your head. And I did the same last season. Is the manager getting the best out of his players? No. Conversation closed. Get another manager that can. That was the same as last season. For me, Moyes' style of play was an issue, but it wasn't like, what's it called? It wasn't like we have to play this certain way. We don't have to play any certain way. Just get a manager that's going to get the best out of the players, regardless of what it is. That's my opinion. I feel like we get Potter when his contract runs out with Chelsea in October. So yeah, I forgot that his contract technically still is running on thing. Like I've seen Potter suggested before. I actually think he does get the better out of these players. And they say he'd be one of them managers. Well, I'd take him, but I know we're hiring him just because he's a free agent. You know, that's my thing with it. Let Emerson go forward more. Keep Wan-Bissaka back. That I agree with you. Like that's what I thought we were going to do in the first place when we saw Wan-Bissaka was going to tuck him into the 3. And listen, Wan-Bissaka hasn't been bad going forward, and he actually put in a decent cross with his left foot today. But I think we all know that Emerson's the guy who's pretty much like a winger when he bombs on forward, and Wan-Bissaka's a great 1v1 defender. Put another great block to stop a fourth goal going in as well. Big up to Alfie as well. Make sure to subscribe to Alfie's channel. We've got a show every Monday. The GVO show, and I'm not looking forward to that. I'm not looking forward to any stream I'm going to be doing this week. Honestly, bro, what the hell happened today? A lot of things happened today. Unfortunately, Lopetegui is still happening. Lopetegui is just a guy where He just not even run out of ideas. He didn't have an idea. Like, we just approached the game all wrong. Like, we went man to man with Chelsea with immobile players where they had mobile players. They outnumbered us in every part of possession. They picked holes very easily. And then people will be like, well, Chelsea weren't even that good. They didn't have to be. They didn't have to be. Because Chelsea were good, but they could go up another level. They could go up another level where they can play a team off the park. And we'll see what they come up. Like, this was meant to be a real test in Chelsea fans' eyes because they struggle at this stadium. I went on every channel and said, you're going to win the game. I didn't think it would be like this, but I said, you're going to win the game. I said, we won't get battered, but we will lose. We did get battered today. Like, if they wanted to, they could have had 4 or 5. Let's be honest, he got lucky against Fulham, and we had one good half of football against Palace. Bro, fully agree. Fully agree, because Villa wasn't good. Man City was good in glimpses. Palace was the only good half, and that was the second half. And to be honest, even then, we were crediting certain things. You could go back on my Palace match reaction. I'm not saying this for the sake of it, but I was crediting more the defense rather than us playing a team off the park. We hit them both twice on transition. Like, we're still I'm fine with scoring goals no matter how the goal goes in. But if you're only scoring on transition, then by God, it's awful. I want to talk about 2 more things because I don't have enough time. I'm probably going to go for another 5-10 minutes. 2 more things. The corners today. Jared Bowen cannot be taken out swinging corners. I've seen this all season. Cannot be taken out swinging corners. And staying on the topic of Jared Bowen, Bowen is not a striker. I don't know how many times I have to tell people this. People will be like, but Mike, you wanted him to start up front in the preview. It was more for the lack of options rather than the fact that I think Bowen is a striker. I don't think Bowen is a striker. I don't even think Bowen is a captain, but cool, whatever. It is what it is. I wanted Alvarez as captain, but he was shit today as well, so who cares? But with Bowen, he hasn't had a great season as it is so far, and he's been played pretty much out of position or hasn't fit the system that Lopetegui's tried to do. And he hasn't got the best out of Bowen. How do you not get the best out? Probably the best goal scorer in your fucking team. I don't understand. But he's not a striker. He's not a striker. He doesn't have the movement of a striker. He doesn't have the hold-up play of a striker. He can hit you on a spin, hit you on a half-turn. That's for sure. He can do that. And he is stronger than people think. And he's a deadly shooter. But it's coming from that right inside channel where he's the most dangerous. That is where he's most dangerous, you know? You know, against Palace where he scored that goal. That right channel right there. That's his areas because nobody's stopping him. You cannot give Bowen any space in those channels. Otherwise, he's going to score. That's where we need him. Not on the touchline on the right wing where either Wan-Bissaka or Soufal's running in our underlap. You keep Bowen in the pockets whilst the right back is hugging the touchline. If you're going to have Bowen hugging the touchline, at least let the right back tuck in so the whole right side isn't, just be running behind all the time. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if it was the 2 up front, by all means do that because he still could drift off the right and do his thing. We saw that kind of ironically against Brentford last season where that kind of worked. But yeah, I don't know why Bowen takes corners when we have Paquetá and Kudus. That's the thing. I don't even know who would like. Kudus is probably the best option because even Paquetá's free kick deliveries today didn't go past the first man. And that's the last thing I want to get onto. Lucas Paquetá, absolutely horrid today. Paquetá, I rate Paquetá as a player, but he needs to. He could be dropped. My thing wasn't him being dropped against the Fulham game. It was for Souček in a 10. You put Kudus in a 10. You put by all means even put fucking Soler in a 10. Even though I wouldn't do that, but you know what I mean. But I wanted a Soler Alvarez Paquetá midfield, and I'd probably still go with that, or a Soler Alvarez Kudus midfield. He doesn't want to play Kudus in the middle for whatever reason, even though that's probably where he's going to be the most dangerous, or on the right. And by the way, when Somerville came off, Kudus went back to the left and went back to the Mohamed Kudus that we don't like, where we're not getting the best out of a borderline superstar at our club. I don't think people realize that these players are actually really talented. It's just that we've got it wrong with 2 different managers with this certain part of the squad, Moyes was there for a long time, so he got the best out of, the Fornals and the Ben Ramas for what he could. But when he was given players and when he had to approve players, he's not good at talent ID or he doesn't know how to use attacking players because of his, dinosaur tactics. And with Lopetegui, he doesn't know how to use it either. Big up RSM, bro. Congrats on the win today. Because what else can I say? It did go down how we talked. It went down exactly how we talked in the preview. Like, this is the thing. People know now. I wasn't gaslighting. I wasn't gaslighting Jerry. I wasn't gaslighting Lewis. everyone that was on the panel, or you guys, or Prime, or Melon. I wasn't gaslighting anyone, bro. First team to score controlled the game exactly. I can't remember the last time we came back. We had this big comeback. Like, I've got a big problem with another part of Lopetegui's thing, which is like coming back in the second half even weaker than you did in the first half. And I'll talk about that another time. But honestly, man, terrible. Paquetá's a liability in centre midfield. His best football for us has been on the left. That you got the best out of Emerson. Do you know what my problem is? I didn't like him off the left, and I did like him combining with Emerson. But what I wanted with that left-hand side was a third-man runner. So what I mean by that is Paquetá can play on the left of a three in midfield, combining with Emerson still, but not on the wing, on the touchline. So I would like Somerville, Paquetá, and Emerson as a whole left side, so they can all combine. Because I think that would actually work. But the problem is when Paquetá's right in the centre, he's not great. He's not actually that good. I'll be real. He's not. Even though he can pass, he kind of just like, whenever someone's running in behind, it's like, whoop, let's just find someone randomly. You are 100% correct. They should hire you, lol. I probably do better than this manager. I did better than this manager, bro. I think it wouldn't be hard. Honestly, I don't think it's that hard to get the best out of these players. It'd be like, you play here, you play here, you play here. Boom. Not saying we would have won the game with me in charge. God, no. Hold on. Let me go to both of your comments. Sack him. I agree. Dinos, he stopped pressing, then leaving open space behind. Yeah, a lot of people are going to talk about Max Kilman, yeah? A lot of people are going to talk about Max Kilman for that first goal. But listen to me. Max Kilman was on his own. Mavropanos, again, rushed to the extra midfielders, and the space was in behind. So Max Kilman is then left isolated. What else is he meant to do with a bozo like Mavrobozo? Mavrobozo needs to stop. Mavrobozo needs to stop playing. Mavrobozo needs to be dropped. Mavrobozo can play as a squad player. I've seen it before. He could come in and do a job. He cannot play week in, week out. But listen, if he was sold, like I didn't want him sold over again, but if he was sold like now we got a replacement in, I wouldn't care. Can we talk about Sole? He looked miles better than the rest. Yeah, I think it's very hard to judge him on, the minutes that he had. But I thought he was at least trying to create from that part of midfield and at least try to do his job. I think it's also very hard for anyone to come on when it's 3-0 down and do anything. Don't get me wrong. Like you sort of say with the other substitutions. But oh god. Like just play Sola, just play Tadibo. I don't care. Just play when Fulcrook comes back, just play Fulcrook in the centre. Tadibo looked like he was going to get cooked to the training video. Would start him though. I haven't seen it, but training's training, isn't it? You'll tell it like there's no one can tell me that Mavropanos has been better in training. Because I don't believe in the whole narrative of managers judge players of training, even in this era of football, because you're looking at it week in, week out with your own eyes on the pitch, and you're thinking, there's no way this guy is like so sick when it comes to short games, like 5-a-side games that they play. Like that's my thing with it. Like, but it is what it is. Tadibo is thinking I should have been playing Champions League this week. Probably. If I was him, I'd be thinking that. But that's the thing. I didn't watch the Steinen interview with TNT. I don't really care, to be honest. I like Steinen, but I don't care what he has to say. My whole problem is just if we're Steinen, just hold the L for Lopetegui, no pun intended, and just get rid of it. You be ruthless. Get the manager that you want. If you don't get the manager you want because of the owner, then leave the club. And then give your reasons why. Simple. Sounds simple, doesn't it? But no, politics and football will stop that. That's my problem. So that's what I think. I liked him starting. I think he's been really good for the club. These are my criticisms of him. Dinos signing, the Mavrobozo signing, and hiring Lopetegui. Those are my criticisms. However, you can't really moan at a guy that signed 5 players in 2 weeks, because we wouldn't have done that under a previous regime to that effect in that quick, from getting the here we go to then getting the announcement within the 3 days. We've not done that before this transfer window on a consistent basis with the amount of signings that we did sign. Yeah, honestly. Like, Joy is, I knew this was going to happen as soon as we lost Aston Villa, and even before the Aston Villa game, as soon as we lose a game, David Moyes is trending. And the thing is, I don't like it when neutrals that didn't watch us week in, week out try and tell us about our football club and, oh, you should have done this and you should have done that. Like, you should have hounded out Moyes. Me. Yeah, fuck off, seriously. And it was a city hijack. Like, that's the thing. We did so well to hijack that, to not play him. I made a joke saying we signed Carlos Soler just for him to be benched for like Thomas Suchek, but he's been benched for Rodriguez. He's been benched for both of them. I know it's only 2 games. He only joined on transfer deadline day. It's nearly a month ago. It was nearly a month ago. You had the international break to actually work with these players as well, so you can't give me all of this. He has to win at Anfield, in my opinion. They're probably going to start their B team. They could start their under 18s. We're not winning at Anfield. We're not winning at Anfield. They could start their under 18s. I think we'd only have a chance against Liverpool at Anfield with this manager is if Liverpool didn't field out a team. Even if there was no one in goal, I'd still be worried that we'd lose like 3 or 4-0 somehow. Even if there was no one on the pitch for Liverpool and it was just us against the goal, I'd still think we're probably going to lose. We'd find a way. Tim did get the most important signing done, Duran. But here's my problem with this, yeah? And I'm telling people, get over the Duran situation, because if we had gone for the 40 million, we wouldn't have been able to get all the deals done around that. So if we went 40 million for 2 players, we wouldn't be able to spread the money around. We wouldn't. Because no one wanted our players for us to be sold. Like, we didn't even get to have money for Ward-Prowse and Cornet and for the other fringe players that were likely to go. And listen, that's the thing. I don't even think it's Sullivan. We had money. We didn't have money to just spunk it on everyone, you know? And yeah, we did miss out on Duran. We did. But Fulkirk hasn't even got a fucking chance yet, man. Like, and even with Duran, I'd be saying the same with Duran. If Duran was to sign, yeah, I'm not expecting him to hit the ground running. I'm not expecting him to. I get what you're saying, though. Like, striker is one of the most important signings. Don't get me wrong, you are right on that. But even if Duran was to sign, yeah, the problem is if Duran doesn't go a game without, if he goes a game without scoring, for example, yeah, our fans would be onto him. This is my problem with our fans in general. This is on going to online people, because in real life it's fine. Every time a striker signs for this club, they're compared to Simone Zaza and Jonathan Calleri within their first breath of being a West Ham player. I said when I thought we was going to get the run, I'm going to give this guy a chance to just settle into the first team, because the guy hasn't really, even though he's played in the Premier League, he didn't start. He's still not starting for a team week in, week out. So he's going to take time to settle in. So even, let's say, hypothetical, this is completely hypothetical, we're going to Duran next summer or in January, even if we were still going after Duran and we somehow got the deal over the line. I'm giving him a season. I'm giving him a year. The reason why I'm giving these people a year is because, guess what? I've made the video before. You can go check out my channel about the striker curse on West Ham United. It's a 40-minute video about the strikers, because we ruined them. We're the problem. And people could be like, how do we do this with managers week in, year in, year out? Because we hire the wrong managers, and then they don't use the strikers properly. If you want to know all my reasons to why these strikers have failed in my lifetime at West Ham United, go and check out that video on my channel. We ruin the strikers because we don't give them service. Thank you. Thank you for saying that, because that is literally what I've been screaming for years. Skamaka didn't get any service. There's a reason why he's done well at every other club. Haller didn't get any service. There's a reason why he did well at every other club. What Lopetegui mine must be over the new boys. Tadibo, yeah, not what I need. Fulkirk too slow, can't finish, not what I need. Yeah, Soler, yeah, Suchek is impressing me more. If he is thinking all of that, then he is more clueless than I thought he was. And listen, Lopetegui does have a good CV, and he was a good manager for what he was, but sometimes the game just moves past you, and maybe you're just not suited towards his club. And listen, I'm not even going to throw any disrespect, apart from the fact that I said he probably does take crack cocaine, and he probably still does, but listen, it is what it is. It is what it is. I want the manager to go. The manager isn't going to go anywhere. We're going to lose to Liverpool, and we're going to lose to Brentford. I don't even care if we even draw to Brentford. I don't care. I don't care if we haven't won at Brentford ever. We've never won at Brentford. I don't care. Win the game. because every game is always an excuse. But we haven't won at Brentford. But Chelsea are better than us. But Aston Villa's a hard game. But it's Manchester City. But we didn't win at Fulham away last season. Do you know what I had a problem with? Even though I was Moyes out last season, I had a problem with this. When we drew against Fulham, people would be like, trust the process, there's progression. We drew to Fulham this time and we didn't lose. You're celebrating a draw against Fulham. You know how embarrassing that is. You know how low your standards are. You know how low the bar is for you to be like, oh, it's progress. We didn't get battered 5-0 this year. You're a fucking disgrace. You're an actual disgrace if you're going to compare a 5-0 to a 1-1. We didn't win either game. End of story. We didn't get 3 points. End of story. Guys, I'm going to end it there. Thank you guys for watching. I'm sorry it's shorter than usual, but I'll have a video tomorrow talking about what we learned from this game, and I'll have a match reaction to the Manchester City Arsenal game live at 10 p.m. On Monday, we should have the GVO show with Alfie, and you can catch me on Nippon and Joey's channel on most weeks talking about the game as well. I hope you guys have all enjoyed this. I'm sorry for the short match, but I want to watch that to see Joshua fight. Also, make sure to like the video. Please subscribe if you are new. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible. So please, if you're not subscribed, just subscribe. Follow me on social medias as well at GVO Mikes on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok as well if you want to follow me. Yeah, take care, guys. Have a good weekend. I'll see you guys in a bit.